Alright, let's just keep going from here. Next up, we got Bloodlands. This has 339 enemies this time. And already again with the really hot starts. God damn. We'll play it safe here. Let's just sing the Shotgun Symphony for a while longer. Oh wait, why did I switch to rocket launcher? What is wrong with me? That was supposed to be a switch to the chain gun, but like whatever, it's fine. Misclicks are bad, face rockets are worse. Although this does look like a more straightforward affair, just pretty much a lot of action in a bite size or in a smaller location. Like I'm normally used to playing maps that are larger with like 330 monsters. This one's just oh wow, rockets already. Okay, this I have a feeling this won't take that long. Alright, dead meatballs. Let's see what else we got. How many meatballs? How many more spicy meatballs? Oh, there's a lot of flying meatballs. Alright. Yeah, I think this is pretty appropriate. Sponge boy, me bab. Ooh, I do not like this. It's way too dark. Yep. There we go. Down. Hot take on literally anything. Oh boy, hold up. Wow, I was not prepared for this, but okay. It's fine. Do you mind? Do you mind if I wait for think for a bit? Is it fine? Oh sure, 100 emoji. Alright. Wait, what exactly is this what exactly is the secret? Oh, actually, you know what? There's been recent discourse on Twitter, if you can even call it discourse, of like new fandoms where, well, it's basically this fandom discourse where apparently people are getting mad over the fact that they're being told off that you can't really be a super fan of games if you don't play them and only rely on watching walkthroughs. And it blew up so much that at some point there was even one guy who said things like, yeah, but you know, you must be really privileged to think that we can afford consoles or PCs or some shit. And like, dude, I'm a third worlder. Like, we had computers. My PC could only run a G4, you know, games older than 2003, and I still ended up playing them. Like, there's this entire like hullabaloo about how you don't need to play games to be a fan of them. You do. I'm sorry, but like, if you really want to be a fan, you do actually have to play the video games. Because they're an interactive form of media. It's not elitist, it's not classist, it's not anything-ist. Like, you can be a fan of the lore, you can be a fan of that. And I'm not even sure why it's supposed to be a hot take, but like, genuinely, it's just kind of dumb for people to immediately assume privilege. Hello, like, I'm from a third world country. I can tell you right now, yes, video games are a privilege, but like today, it's so much easier to get into them. And also, like, the entire argument falls apart when you actually discover, you know, games that aren't like just story driven. Because I think it started off with the that entire thing started off with Resident Evil 9 discourse, right? Yeah, okay, try to apply that same logic to XCOM. You can't. It's hard. Like, it's funny because I remember talking about too long. I remember a while back that I was making fun of the gatekeeping crowd because, you know, it literally is an open gate and like everyone can just kind of swing past it. But at the same time, I'm 100% with the gatekeepers on this one. Like, you actually do have to be actively playing video games if you're a fan of them. I still think a lot of the gatekeepers are cringe though. Just, you know, it's like that one Homelander meme where you're like, you know what, you're right, but you're so obnoxious. That one meme where you're like, when you low-key agree with someone's opinion, but they're so obnoxious about it that you don't want to agree with them. Yeah, that. It's not even supposed to be that hot of a take. It's just, you know, I think it's a really good point of discussion. It's something, especially because it's just recent stuff. But yeah, I just thought it was really silly for people to start suddenly invoke the privilege this is an extremely privileged take to be able to play, to tell people that they can't get into a hobby, they can't get into the video game hobby by, without playing games. Yeah, you kind of have to. They're games, interactive media. They're meant to be played. You can praise the story of somebody doing an LP, but it's still a completely different experience when you actually play this. For example, right now, I don't know, it just falls apart so easily when you consider that, there are games that are really here for gameplay. And just as an aside, I do think a lot, just as another aside, I guess, if that's not hot enough, I think people are overreacting a tiny bit too much towards the new regulations for Formula 1. Give it time. We're already drawing so many conclusions from the new regulations. It hasn't even been one season with them. It's way too early. Dude, I still remember because I watched the 2022 season and people were all like, oh my god guys, the cars are so nice, we can easily overtake now. And then later on, when 2026, when teams finally figured out aerodynamic efficiency, people are all like, oh my god, these regs are so boring, it's just DRS trains. I remember that people were praising 2022 for having so much close racing. And oh my god, cars can follow now, no more dirty air. And then by the end of these sets of regulations, people are just they're like, oh my god, this is so unwatchable. People, they're literally no overtake. It's just DRS trains. Boo hoo, F1's boring, blah. And I mean, the people who keep saying that shit are always tuned in. Yeah, teams have barely figured this shit out. Aston Martin has barely figured out their own engine. It's way too early to tell. I still hate that they haven't figured that shit out though. No, high-key mad about that. It's I rep Aston Martin. I hella rep Aston Martin. It's the... McLaren doesn't even exist this year. Yeah! Right? Title defense. What title defense? Merc domination again, but at the same time, we haven't had Merc domination in 5 years. It's fine. Ferrari's gonna fuck things up. Ferrari's gonna fuck things up regardless of regulations. We're all just coping here, thinking this year is our year, and then at some point we just say next year is our year, and then when the next year comes, we say the same shit again. Also, hi Kuro, good morning. Good morning to the Boodle Queen. What's up? We're just playing Doom and firing off hot takes. I'm glad that umabot din sa timeline mo yung discourse regarding the games are meant to be played thing. That entire discourse. Didn't that entire discourse, quote unquote, start off due to Resident Evil 9? Hey, had to wake up early to do errands. Haha, how's the game? Well, I'm surprisingly less rusty than I thought I would be. Yeah, oh my god, that was so insane. Yung talaga what got me talaga was the play yung nagsasabi na na it's classist daw. It's such a privileged take daw for you to just say, you dude, just play games on your phone, or just emulate, just pirate, or just get a cheap computer. I'm dude, that is literally what we Yeah, OG Doom is one of those things where you have to play it to get. No, that just applies to all. That applies to pretty much every shooter out there. Like, the entire argument falls apart. Common sense lang naman na maglaro ng game to be a fan of a game. Yeah, it's literally common sense. I do not know how it became such a controversial thing. And I think it's because the people who try to engage in said hobby are probably thinking of story-based games. Like, the only genre where that makes complete sense is strangely visual novels. Kasi a lot of the people who upload Let's Plays on visual novels include all the routes. So, like, you're not actually going to miss out on anything if you don't play it. You know, if you really just want to, like, just watch the VNs. But, like, other than that, I have put God of War Ragnarok's story modes as my background noise for, you know, just as background noise whenever I want to eat, whenever I want to do something. That does not actually that does not make me like a fan of God, or at least that does not make me a bigger fan of God of War. There are hierarchies to this. I tend to steer clear from certain fandom. I try to steer clear from from most. Like, I can say, oh wow, the scene was really, really nice, but I can't tell people that, oh wow, this is such a good game, guys, because I haven't actually played it. Totoo nga yun. The thing that they say, that there are actually, it is true, there are levels to being a fan. I just clear of everything. Shitheads are in everything fandom. Yeah, no, that's fair. That is actually fair. Ooh, I've been invited to a family. Wait. Team family sharing. Wait, ano to? Start by climbing the mountain at the end of the at the U-turn jump northeast. I was thinking, what U-turn are we talking about? Oh, here. So, jump to the northeast. Yeah. And drop into a hole in the northeast. Is it this hole? No? No. What? Where's the hole? That's probably the worst way to word it, though. Where's the hole? Oh, there's the hole. But yeah. Like that entire argument falls apart if you're talking about things like XCOM, Age of Empires, Fire Emblem, strategy games in particular, Civilization, because no playthrough is ever the same. It also falls apart when you play creative games like Roller Coaster Tycoon because, well, you know, you're not going to your vision of a theme park is going to be different from everyone else's. It's weird. Those who want to interact with the OG version of the games they claim to be a fan of. I'm guilty of that. I'm sorry, I am guilty. Well, I don't really say I don't really say I'm a fan of it, but I am slightly guilty of that. Having played only the System Shock remake and have not really getting into the original System Shock because the controls are kinda jank. So it's great that I have a remake that enables WASD. But I always kind of make the distinction that I've never played the original, but I love the remake. But the graphics suck. Atang ina. Oh, that's a problem then, you know. I'm at least desensitized to it. Wait. There's a tiny step on the northeast side of the first secret. Fuck! Ah! Okay, fine. Alright. Tiny step. Oh, here! Okay. You can use to drop to the water below to get a megasphere. Okay! Wait lang. Sir! I did not expect this. I did not expect this at all. No! Oh my god, I got it! I got it way before. Oh, that was close. That was butt clench. That was Omega ass clench. 9,000. Can I just like shoot him with a BFG or something? What was that? Graphics should have stopped progressing after like 2004. Yeah, the obsession on hyperrealism is nuts, man. Wait, what? Oh, invulnerability? What do I need that for the spider fight, not for this? I don't know. Fuck. I'm not even gonna get a use out of this. Shit. And now we're here in DLSS 5. God, it's ugly. You know, it's so ugly that even Bacon Waifu, who isn't into video games, or at least not into games as much as me, couldn't tell that it's ugly. And like, she can tell that, you know, you lose art direction. You lose the thing called art direction when you do that shit. When normal people understand what kind of sloppy bullshit DLSS 5 is, it's terrible. Oh yeah, top dollar cards still not being able to run new games. Hi, my 9070 XD, you know. But yeah, those who don't want to interact with the OG versions of the games that they claim to be a fan of. Okay, I'll concede to that. That is true. I am guilty of that with System Shock. I am guilty of that. But at the same time, it's not like I wouldn't say no to actually playing them. Also, hey, thank you for the lurk, Xenon. Pero, you know, people who don't want to, like... Okay, here's the thing. Like, I think people who want to play the remakes of certain games and do it because they can't look at they think the graphics of the original are ugly. Yeah, no, fuck that. If you've got like other compelling reasons, because there is a compelling reason to play the System Shock remake. It's basically better control scheme, and like the final boss area has been radically changed. I personally find it hard to believe someone can be a fan of the FPS genre without playing Doom or Quake. Like, they are the father games of everything we have now. That's true. Or, you know, or even Half-Life. God, look, if you're not a fan of either Doom, Quake, Half-Life, Counter-Strike, like, I don't think you can really like be a full-on FPS fan. You gotta appreciate the classics first, because you know your Call of Duties, your Battlefields, and your other multiplayer shooters came from here. Shit, you not. The first time I played Halo, I was like, oh shit, this feels so much like Doom. And Halo itself is kind of its own, it's kind of its own thing, or at least it's kind of one of those. It's kind of the mecca of like first-person shooters. And even then, it still takes inspiration from Quake. It's, yeah, you know. Anyway, apart from, I don't really need a remake. Just patch the game for modern standards like widescreen, not crashing every 15 minutes, stable FPS, etc. Yeah, pretty much. Like I don't particularly need it. But like if more modern controls are only available in the remake, I'd probably go for that. Which is what I did with System Shock. Which, by the way, you all should play. If you've ever played Prey, if you've ever played the 2017 version of Prey, if you've ever played Deus Ex, yeah, System Shock System Shock was kind of the progenitor of those, or was kind of the game that started that, a survival horror first-person thingy. But yeah, you're right though. For the most part, you are correct. I just need the game to be patched for modern standards. What was the last thing I did? Oh, Colin McRae Rally 2.0. I don't particularly want you know, a Colin McRae Rally remake when 2.0 exists with silent patch and widescreen and stuff. That's cool. That's already good enough as is. Okay, we'll take the wooden building later. Alright. Ayan, and then just on one more word of the before we go back to discussing games, remakes, and other shit, I just want to ouch. The blue room of death. Okay, where was I? I guess the thing, just the thing with the new regulations is that they take time, and you know, people are probably going to find so much aerodynamic gains will probably have more things to complain about with not following. In which case, I suggest, you know, if people are like quote unquote F1 fans, and you know they all feel really the new regs are boring, honestly, get into WEC, get into IMSA. Like, find another racing series, find a secondary racing series. The reason why I can't, you know, I don't get bored of F1 is because I also have other things to watch. I watch the WEC, I watch IMSA, I watch Super GT when I can, or at least keep up with Super GT. If you think the 2026 regs are boring, try the 1986 regs. People tend to glorify the 90s era way. You know, people tend to glorify the quote-unquote golden age of Formula 1 these days. The screaming V10s, I'm sorry, having been a Michael Schumacher fan earlier than a Michael Jordan fan. The first Michael I ever became a fan of wasn't Michael Jordan, even though we were a very basketball-centric country. It was Michael Schumacher. So I lived during the era of the V10s, and I can tell you that the races themselves were, a lot of the races, especially during the middle of Michael's dominance, were just figuring out who would finish third sometimes, not even second. Figuring out who would finish second or third, because Michael Schumacher's probably won that already. Of course, I love it. I love when he wins. He's like my favorite driver ever. Like, that doesn't mean that there weren't any banger races. There were. It's just that whatever complaints that people have had with like the new regulations, you know, they probably existed in the old regs too. The only thing I will concede is that the old F1 cars definitely sounded much better. But like, do you really, you know, are you a fan of the sound is a huge part of it, but like, hello, it's motorsports, it's racing. The racing has to be good. It wasn't any better. Yeah, tsaka the 86 regs and like the early 90s regs, like, people have no idea how huge the performance gap was between like the fastest car and the slowest. There's a reason why the 107% rule was invented. It was invented because of those guys. Because people would literally field cars that are 7 or 10 seconds slower, and that's dangerous. If they're too... There was one Formula 1 car in the 90s called the Life L190, which had a W16 engine that was really terrible, and it only made like 450 horsepower. It was bolted on a Formula 3 car chassis that didn't even fit. No, wait, that was the V8. No, they replaced it with the Judd V8 that didn't fit the cover. And it only made like 400 horsepower at most, while, you know, the V12s, the V12s from Ferrari were doing 750. It wasn't uncommon to see cars like 16 seconds off the pace. Yeah, exactly. And like, Now, what? The slowest we get is 3 seconds, 3.5. Like, there are a lot of things you can be mad about with the new modern F1, but like, you know, people really need to, wow, holy crap, I died there. People really need to lay off the entire back in my day, because it's just not, it's not all true. 3 to 4 at the worst, yeah. 3 to 4 seconds at worst. We don't have cars that are just 16 or 20 seconds off the pace. We didn't even have pre-qualifying then. But genuinely, if you guys want great racing, just like try different series, please. You know, the one thing that I think people also misunderstand about F1 is that it's not simply just a spectacle for the racing. It's also pretty much a test bed for like all the latest and greatest automotive technologies. Like people gotta y'all gotta realign your expectations for like what you want out of this, what you want out of F1. F1 has always been about pushing technology, pushing boundaries. Yes, and that also, and sometimes those technological innovations come at the cost of the racing. But I mean, even if you bitch about it, you're still gonna watch it because, you know, you need... It's kind of like those basketball fans who keep complaining that, oh my god, in this era, there's no defense. They have been saying that same shit since what? The Stephen Curry Warriors, and please still live. Oh my god, people take too many threes. Oh my god, people don't play defense anymore. Why are you still watching? That's the point. You're still watching it. You're literally just watching it to bitch about how the old days were better. Yeah, it's always been engineering and domination. You know, the cost caps were just a way to, you know, cater to you guys or to the regulars. Well, genuinely, just watch another series. Watch GT3s. Watch GT3 racing. Watch Super GTs. I promise. You really want it? Watch Super Formula. Spec Series. IndyCar. IndyCar is freaking amazing. NASCAR is pretty cool too. Okay, let's see. Soul Sphere, then Central Pillar. Okay. Leave to the south. Go west. Oh. Oh, here. There we go. Alright, 4 monsters to go. Where could they be? Have a bee. Hello there. Can I have one with wind element bacon for breakfast, please? Why wind? Also, hi, Mabs. But why wind? Wait, what? What the shit? Oh shit, they're voodoo dolls. So if I actually just used the BFG, I would have died. Okay. That is wind for fast service, I guess. Well, that's fair. That's fair. Wow, okay, that ended up being a lot of yapping on one map alone. 33 minutes, Jesus Christ, really? And anyway, that was Bloodlands. That was a lot of enemies.